What leverage do we have? Republicans have repeatedly lectured America. They control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. It's their government. What leverage do we have?
The Young Turks absolutely lose it over how weak the Democrats have been against Republicans, Elon Musk and Donald Trump, just letting them run wild with no pushback. And honestly, if you were expecting the Dems to actually fight back, spoiler alert, they're not. Let's get into this clip from the Young Turks, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
The fearless opposition party, ladies and gentlemen. Give them a round of applause. Give them a round of applause. There's nothing we can do. What do you want us to do? I'm gonna stand here as the House minority leader and complain about how we don't have any leverage when I could be messaging about how there's a robbery going on right now as we speak. The dismantling of the government agencies seeking to return money to Americans who are defrauded by the big banks. Can you maybe muster up enough energy to give a speech about that? House minority leader.
Yeah.
Hakeem Jeffries. God, the Democrats are so pathetic. They're so pathetic because if you don't agree with what the Trump administration is up to, if you don't identify as a Republican, if you didn't want to vote for Donald Trump, what other option do you have? Okay? The party that tried to run a decomposing corpse, and then when he got caught, they anointed the Democratic nominee. The party that keeps telling you that there's nothing they can do, whether they're in power or out of power.
Yeah, I mean,
look, come on.
So, guys, you've literally heard me sometimes sing this line. There's nothing we could do. There's nothing we can do. That's the Democratic mantra. And that they say that when they get in power. They're like, oh, the filibuster, the parliamentarian, skittle-boo. You're like, that's not even a word. It doesn't matter. There's nothing we could do. There's nothing we could do.
They're so pathetic.
And now that they're in the minority, here comes Hakeem Jeffries to sing the same song. There's nothing we could do. Then what? You know what? The American people believed you. You kept telling them that you can't do anything, so they voted you out of power because you can't do anything.
Democrats are pretty much the reason Republicans even have power right now. Like, just think about how badly you have to fail as a party to have the majority of people actually agree with you on most issues, but still lose elections because you refuse to actually push your agenda. Meanwhile, Republicans have been talking about slashing programs and cutting departments for decades, and they're finally able to do it now because today's Democrats are weaker and more spineless than ever.
Why don't you man up and grow a spine and a brain and actually figure out a strategy? That moron just said, well, and the Republicans have the House and the Senate and the White House, and the Republicans' message to the American people. Wait, why don't you message to the American people? You're doing a press conference right there, schmuck. Why don't you get out your message? I didn't think about that. Look, I need you to understand, these Democratic leadership, mainstream media told you your whole life about how they're amazing people. They literally said when we were criticizing Barack Obama from the left, you don't understand, he's doing 4-dimensional chess. He 4-dimensional chess to no change at all other than Obamacare. Okay, he 4D chess all the way to a giant bank bailout that made the Democratic Party deeply unpopular and lost 1,000 seats. And here comes Hakeem Jeffries to go, there's nothing I can do. They're dumb.
They're
right, and they're incompetent.
Incompetent, feckless.
Total losers.
Yep, 100%. This is it. This is the opposition party. So look, his explanation for why Democrats can't deliver for Americans right now is that Republicans just never let them get anything done, right? That's the role of your opposition party, Hakeem Jeffries. But isn't it amazing that when Republicans want something, they usually find a way to get what they want? Anyway, he doubled down later in the same press conference. Let's hear what the House Minority Leader has to say.
We've made clear from the beginning, there's a season to govern and a season to campaign. We are in the governing season. And so we're ready to work together on any issue. But I'm also confused about the leverage that we allegedly have in the face of such an overwhelming mandate that was given to Republicans by the American people, according to them.
How can anyone actually be proud to be a Democrat after hearing that nonsense? This guy literally held a whole press conference just to say, yeah, we can't really do anything. Have you ever heard Republicans say that? No, because they will use every tool at their disposal to block Democrats whenever they get the chance. Meanwhile, the only real resistance against Trump and whatever Elon is up to right now comes from federal judges and lawsuits, not from Democrats who should be leading the charge, but as usual are nowhere to be found.
Listen, no one is stupid enough to think that Democrats have a modicum of power right now. They don't. They have no power right now. We all understand that. But how about take a look at the behavior of Republicans when they are not in power? You want to know what they do? They don't shut up. Okay, they're doing press conferences, they're doing congressional hearings, they're repetitive again and again. I mean, the Hillary Benghazi thing, every single day, Hillary Benghazi, Hillary Benghazi, Hillary Benghazi. Democrats though, they cower, and then they tell their own supporters, shut up, there's nothing we can do because we don't have enough power. And then what they'll say is, we need to have control of Congress. And then everyone will get out the vote, they'll organize, they'll canvass, they'll fight real hard to ensure Democrats have the majority in Congress in both the lower chamber, Senate, and guess what they do with that power? Nothing. That's what Biden had. And then it was excuse after excuse after excuse for why they can't get their own agenda accomplished, even when they had control of the executive branch and they had control of Congress. But don't worry, don't fret, because there's another Democratic leader who's gonna fight for us, and she's gonna explain how in this next clip.
My whole passion about being in politics is for the children. So what is it that we're doing for the children? I think that it would have been important for the children to not have Donald Trump be president of the United States. And that is, I would take every step necessary to make sure that didn't happen, but it did. And now we have to deal with it. And in about 6 or 7 months, you're going to see such a change. By the time we start our campaigns in this fall, for next fall, you're going to see a very different picture about the Democrats.
Why is Nancy Pelosi still in Congress? Seriously, why do all these old, out-of-touch politicians refuse to step aside? And the craziest part, it took this old, out-of-touch politician to finally convince an old, out-of-touch president to step down. And even then, it was way too late.
Vis-a-vis Donald Trump.
Retire. She's sitting there and talking about, like, don't worry, in 6 months, we might start fighting back. Like,
and I want to explain why she says 6 to 7 months. First, let me go through all this, and we're going to be constructive. I'm going to tell you what they actually should do, okay? Because I think we're the only show that ever does that, right? So first of all, on Hakeem Jeffries, he says, well, there's nothing we do in the minority. But wait a minute, when you were in the majority and Biden had the House, the Senate, and the White House, you also said there was nothing you could do. Why? Because the GOP was blocking all your bills, even though they were in the minority because of the filibuster. So why don't you do the same thing? And then there would be something you could do. Why don't you just do exactly what the Republicans did to you that you complained about when Biden was in charge? Did that not occur to you? Because when you were in charge, you couldn't stop talking about the filibuster and the parliamentarian. Now, all of a sudden, you can't find the parliamentarian. What's a filibuster? I mean, at a bare minimum, can't you do that? For him to pretend that he has no leverage at all, it's unbelievable. Now, Nancy Pelosi, I mean, look at how pathetic this is. You know, the thing that I care about is the children. What is this? What is this? I mean, this is elementary level politics.
Yep.
Children, how? In what context? What are you talking about? And what is the most important thing for the children, according to her? That Donald Trump not win. In other words, that the Democrats win. Yeah, I was talking to a kid the other day. He's like, man, if more Democrats won, I'd be so happy. Okay, I mean, this is just like such infantile way of trying to manipulate people. If you care about your kids, you vote Democrat. So why does 6 to 7 months from now? Because as she said, that's when our campaign's gonna start. They're not gonna fight back when you're in trouble. They're not fighting back right now when the Trump team is saying we're not listening to the courts. That's the giant, unbelievable constitutional.
At the end of the day, the only reason we're even dealing with Trump again is because the Democrats are just that weak. They had every opportunity to push real change, to stand their ground, but instead they caved over and over again. And now, here we are, watching history repeat itself. It's frustrating, but I want to know what you think. Do you blame the Democrats for all of this? Drop a comment below. Let's talk about it. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos. See you in the next one.